I spent $200 on a dental training course and I'm going to give you the entire thing for free. Here's the reality. Most dental practices are losing up to 80% of new patient opportunities, not because of bad marketing or bad review, but because how they handle phone calls. This is part one of three-part series where I'm breaking everything down that I learned, how much it's actually costing you, and two powerful tips that you could use to answer your calls starting today. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth. About 35% of calls in dental offices don't even get answered. 1 in 3 gone. The front desk is busy talking to another patient, talking to the doctor, handling something in the back. Whatever the reason is, the call goes to voicemail. And if it's a new patient calling, they're not calling back. They've already dialed the next practice on Google, but that's not even the worst part. Even when practices do pick up, somewhere between half and 2/3 of those callers hang up without scheduling an appointment. Think about that. Between missed calls and botched conversations, you're losing the majority of your potential new patients, and those new patients, they're not coming back. What is this actually costing you? Now let me talk some dollars so it really hits home. An average GP patient brings in about $1,200 to $1,700, pediatric patient $800 to $1,200, and ortho about $4,000 to $6,000. Now, those dollars will add up, but here's where it gets interesting. You're also flushing 70 to 80% of your marketing budget down the drain. You're paying for Google Ads, SEOs, all designed to make that phone ring, but when it actually does ring, you're losing patients anyways. A lot of the times, we look into marketing when trying to bring the revenues up, but it may not always be a marketing problem, rather a phone problem. Now, you might be thinking, my practice schedules way more than 30 to 50% of our calls. And you might be right, but here's what most people miss. Some of your callers are referrals. A family, a friend, another doctor sent them your way, and the patient will schedule at nearly 100% because they already trust you even before you pick up the phone. So we need to distinguish between referral patients and marketing patients when we look at the data. Now, patients you're paying real money to create, your marketing patients are the ones that we really need to pay attention here. Those patients are more skeptical, quicker to hang up, and much less easy to convert than referral patients. And here's a problem. If you're not separating the referrals from your marketing patients in your data, you actually have no idea how well or how poorly you're performing on the calls that actually matter the most. The good news is that you can stop losing patients, and the method is honestly simpler than most people expect. The course broke it down into two core tools: empathy and understanding the patient's why. Let's start with the first tool. Think about what it takes for somebody to pick up the phone and call the dental office. For some people, it's not a big deal, but for others, it might be very terrifying. They might be embarrassed about the state of their teeth, they might be in pain, they might just be in a bad mood. And so it's our job to make sure that those patients are met with compassion and empathy. If you could do that, you'll not only help your caller feel appreciated and understood, but dramatically increase your odds of getting them to schedule and have a win for everybody. So before you pick up the phone, take a beat, get yourself into the empathetic headspace, remind yourself that the person on the other end might be having one of the hardest moments of their week. Okay, so you've gotten yourself into an empathetic headspace to pick up the phone. Now you have an opportunity to build trust, help the caller feel understood, and gently lead them towards scheduling an appointment by figuring out the why. You see, every caller has a reason for seeking out an appointment. Usually it's something very practical, like I haven't had a cleaning in a while, my teeth hurts, I'm missing a tooth, and I want to learn about the full arch treatment. But each of these whys connect to a deeper emotional level. The caller who hasn't had a cleaning in a while might be worried about their overall state of their oral health. The caller with the toothache is tired of living in pain. And the caller who wants to learn more about full arch implants is not just looking for a replacement teeth, but a renewed sense of confidence, or the ability to bite and chew again, or even smile without feeling self-conscious. So when you pick up the phone, you have a chance to connect with each caller by exploring the why. To do that, start by simply asking the question like, what kind of help are you looking for? Or how long has it been affecting you? You could also express empathy when a caller is clearly suffering, the goal is to make sure that your future patient feels heard and understood. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I already have so much to do, I don't have time to listen to everyone. But trust me, if you take an extra minute or two to explore the situation, it makes a huge difference. Think about how you feel when somebody goes out of their way to show you a little empathy and compassion. That's how your caller feels, and that small bit of effort stands out in a major way and naturally leads to scheduling an appointment. And that is putting a win on the board for your team. Once you've shown empathy and uncovered the why, you're ready for the next step. There are two things you must do first. First, you need to validate the caller's reason for seeking help. Second, you need to build confidence in your team so they feel supported. How you validate each caller will change depending on the reason. Regardless, you always want to acknowledge their reason and appreciate that they're taking action. I'll also mention that since you're in a type of sales role, you also want this opportunity to assure the caller that your team is the right fit to help them. Of course, only do this if their needs align with something your team actually provides. If the caller's why relates to your core service, you could say something like, "You called the right place. Our doctor is amazing, and we help patients with this all the time." At this point, the caller is already interested in scheduling an appointment. What you're doing is reaffirming their instinct to take action. And now you're in a position to move forward with scheduling. In the next video, I'll share the specific language that will help you achieve this. And we'll also talk about what type of tones to use and other key points like how to answer price shoppers or what it means to build a process to reduce no-shows. So let me leave you with this. The phone call is the most underrated, most overlooked part of growing a dental practice. You could have the best marketing in the world, but if your team can't convert those phone calls, you're lighting money on fire, like literally. Empathy and understanding the patient's why, those two are the most powerful tools. Start using them tomorrow, and I promise you'll see the difference. Like I said, this is part 1, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the second part. And if your practice is tired of losing patients on the phone, I want to see how AI can help handle this automatically, check out Operator. I'll drop a link below. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.